And you don't know this, but I believe, if I remember Jerome Brown telling me, that Keith Jackson and Byars were roommates in Philly. Today's Jerome Brown's birthday. He would have been 60 years old today. And we're watching a kid who wears number 98. Jerome wore 98 at UM. I played next to him, of course. And he wore 99 with the Eagles. But I get a lot of people texting me in going, today was Jerome. Jerome would have been 60 today. I'm telling you, folks, between Sean Taylor and Jerome Brown, if those guys have fulfilled their prophecy, Jerome would be in Canton. And if Keith played today, I told you he'd be Alvin Kamara, making $20 million a year. Without further ado, truly ahead of his time. That whole offense was ahead of his time. Randall Cunningham is Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's how you look at those guys and how they keep Jackson and keep Byars and Randall. What a great football team and what a great culture. One of the most memorable teams of all time with Buddy Ryan's guys. Here's our friend Keith Byars, who's freshly coming off. He must be in heaven right now with his Ohio State Buckeyes winning the national championship once again. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Dan. Very well. I mean, 2025 has been very, very good to me. My Buckeyes are national champions again in college football. My Philadelphia Eagles is NFC champions, soon to be Super Bowl champions in 2025. Doesn't get much better than that right now.
It doesn't, man. You're in a good place right now heading into this 25 year. Hey, just to reflect a little bit, today's JB's birthday. You agree with me? If that guy had fulfilled his prophecy, he'd have been in Canton?
Oh, no question. No question. I mean, back in those days, I'm saying old now, back when we played, we wasn't projecting guys in the Hall of Fame after 2 years or after your rookie year. We just let you play your career out. And then, Hall of Fame would just be something that would happen. Even Reggie White, we knew Reggie White was going to be a Hall of Famer, but we didn't think about that. We just trying to win this game Sunday. We just happy he's on our team. So Jerome Brown, I heard your intro. My Jalen Carter, does have a lot of traces of Jerome Brown. Oh, he's awesome. I mean, Jerome Brown, it doesn't believe it. It's been how many years ago now? Since
30-something.
1992. Geez, I mean, 28 years. Man. It's just unbelievable. But we said Jerome would never be forgotten.
That's right.
Absolutely. So he said he's 60. He would have been 60 years old today. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like until you say it out loud. Like,
I know, man. My wife said the same thing. He goes, you guys are getting up there now. And I'm like,
I know, because I'm 61 and I don't really say that out loud.
Hey, you and me are still thinking we're in our 20s going, yeah, I played a couple of years ago. You didn't play you played 30 years? I'm like, I did?
I haven't scored a touchdown in over 25 years.
I know.
How long since I've been in the end zone?
I know. Keith, what made your teams so memorable? I mean, everybody always goes back. I mean, even more so than some of the Super Bowl teams that they've had. Was it just the personalities that you guys had on those teams?
I get asked that question from time to time, various ways. But, we were all in Philadelphia. And the nickname of Philadelphia is a city of brotherly love. And it was just apropos where you bring that many different personalities. Every team has a lot of different personalities. But our personalities, being in Philadelphia at that time in the 80s, it was just perfect mix of guys, of chemistry. It didn't matter, black, white, green, brown, purple. It didn't matter. You walked in that locker room, all we saw was Philadelphia Eagles. A true brotherhood that was infectious and fell in love, with the city on various reasons why. I mean, we went through a strike together. Not one Philadelphia Eagle crossed the line. Because it was like, hey, man, either we all going to do it or none of us are going to do it. And it was my second year in the NFL, Jerome Brown's first year in the NFL. And we was basically saying the same thing. I can't miss what I ain't never had. I've never been paid but 1 year in my life. I played football for free. Jerome, this is my first year even getting a contract, having an NFL contract. So it's really hard for me to miss paychecks I never really had coming in. So if this is what's right for us to be strong and none of us cross the picket line, so be it. And that's one of the other things that brought us closer together. Philadelphia is a huge union town, and they got behind us because hey, the Eagles aren't crossing the line, we aren't crossing the line. Any other scab to cross the line, the union people telling us, y'all just stay out of trouble. Let us handle the scabs. And I was like, okay. If people get mad at me today, he's like, why are you calling them scabs? They're replacement players. No, they're scabs. I lost a quarter of my salary that year that I did not get back.
That was my first year too, man. That's
Yeah.
right. Hey, those checks, man, when you ain't ever getting them, I mean, I was the same way. I'm like, holy cow here, man. My grandpa's like, you ain't crossing no damn line. What are you, nuts? And I'm like, okay. So there it was, man. I'm losing all that. I'm losing money I never had, but I'm like, damn, when I got those checks, back then for me, getting like $15,000, $20,000 a week, man, that was big dough for me, man.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely. I mean, you extrapolate that out. That's like $100,000 today here, though. So
I mean, nobody in my family made six figures.
Yeah.
My father didn't make six figures in the 80s. No. So I was the first one to make six figures in my whole family, and,
wow.
and it was a good feeling. A good feeling.
Hey,
but just something bigger than you.
Keith, what did you enjoy doing more, playing in the horseshoe or playing at the vet?
Ooh. Good. I never heard that question. That's the good one, Dan. I don't know. I can't compare them because at the horseshoe, you only have a certain amount of times to do it because you're going to graduate, and that's going to be it. And so by your senior year, this is the last time I'm running out of this tunnel. Whereas in the vet, I didn't know. We didn't have free agency when I first came in. I didn't know how many years I was going to play. But, when you're playing in a veteran stadium, it's different than any other stadium out there in the professional football. Colleges, everyone has their own unique things. But I'm going to think long and hard about that one. But to answer your question, my grandma Ohio State shirt right now.
I see it.
I'm going to, I'm going to say Ohio State because Ohio State, the stadium was built in 1922. They played football before it, and there was a 60,000 seat stadium in 1922. Now it's over 100, 500, 6,000, seat stadium. So it's a national historical place. I will always be able to come back to Ohio State. Whereas the vet is no longer there. I just know where it was. And now it's the link. But I'm like, where the Phillies new set, that's where the vet used to play. So that will always keep a special place to me. But the fans in Philadelphia made the vet. So the fans, so I could still see the vet by just being there. Just sensing, I could still hear the roar of the crowd. Even though there's no stadium there, I could still hear it. And you have that connection you have with the city. And it's really hard to compare college and pro.
Did it have a college sense because the fans love that team with so much civic pride, like in Columbus? I know that city loves the Buckeyes, and there's so much civic pride there with that. But in Philadelphia, it's kind of on the pro level, like you have in Buffalo or Green Bay or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Do you feel like did you feel that a little bit more, like not like a college feel to it, that the team was loved so much by the city? Because Sixers, Flyers, look, Phillies, those are all great historical franchises. But since I've been talking in Philadelphia now for 5 years, Keith, they love that team, man. No matter what that team does, man.
We are the true heartbeat of the Philadelphia Eagles, of Philadelphia.
Yes.
I mean, the Eagles make the headlines in March.
Yes.
What's going on in Philly with the Eagle football? That's the heartbeat of the city because it's only once a week. The Phillies play sometimes 4 or 5, 6 times a week. The Sixers may play 3 or 4 times a week. Same with the Flyers. But the Eagle football is once a week. And especially when it's on Sunday, people have been working all week long to enjoy Eagle football on Sunday. And if the Eagles play a good game and we win, then your week is a whole lot better. Eagles play bad and lose on Sunday. Now you got to go to work on Monday. Did you see what happened yesterday with the Eagles? The boss isn't as happy. So the whole city feels it. They feel the highs and the low of the Philadelphia Eagle football season. And right now, it's as high as it can be. They're headed to the Super Bowl. and everybody's going. I'm sure Monday is going to be a national holiday. Nobody has to work on Monday because hey, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. Don't come into work. Let's celebrate. Let's have a good time.
I love it, man. Let me ask you, what's the difference you think heading into this Super Bowl compared to Super Bowl 57 for this team? You made a great comment last year, and I used it a bunch. You said that last year's team hadn't played playoff football since Thanksgiving, and we were talking late in December, and you were kind of calling it right there before the season was even over. You were like, they're not playing together. They haven't played together football since November and since Thanksgiving. I was like, damn, and he turned out to be right, and you were right. What's the difference heading into this game here, though, in your opinion, with this team from that 22 team to this team heading in on Sunday?
See, in NFL, every year is different. That's why so many people love the NFL. For your team went to the Super Bowl, next year they don't make the playoffs. Like the Cincinnati Bengals here in Ohio, they hadn't been to the Super Bowl in 31 years, and then they go to the Super Bowl, and it's like, wow. And then next year they go to the AFC Championship game. In the last 2 years, they haven't made the playoffs. So you can go these really the ebb and flow, the highs and lows. I mean, it's like I said last year about the Eagles not playing football since Thanksgiving. It was kind of like, when the season going to be over with? I know we made the playoffs. It's just like it's had to go to Tampa to just make it official and pronounce them, because they were dead well before they got down to Tampa, last year. Whereas this year, totally different vibe. Went through a little something early in the season, middle of the season, you're starting to pick up some momentum and get an identity. And by Thanksgiving, that team is totally different from a year ago Thanksgiving. And they was running downhill in December. Only thing, they stubbed their toe against Washington when Jalen Hurts got hurt. But prior to him getting injured, Saquon had already had over 120-something yards and ended up losing that game. But even it was still like, okay, no problem. We'll get them next time. We'll get them next time. And when next time came in the NFC Championship game, the real Eagles stood up and, hung 50 points on them in the NFC Championship game. Are you kidding me? They are playing high-level football. Offense, defense, special teams. Like Jalen Carter, we mentioned him earlier. And been talking about him since the middle of the season on. And it talking about who's going to be the defensive player of the year. And I'm like, I know they don't give it to defensive tackles. But for me, I mean, gosh, he would know if he finishes lower than third, it's ridiculous. That's how great a year that man has had. I mean, you look at the Ram game in the playoff, saved the Eagles season. That third down sack that he had on Matt Stafford to make it now 4th and forever. Oh, that was a huge play. Huge play. I mean, that's just a play that he just made that game. But if you watch the Eagles all season long, he's been that guy all season long. I mean,
Keith, let me put this.
He should.
Let me put this in your ear here. I get a lot of people say this to me, and I'm sorry, man. When I put the game film on, when I was watching those old VHSs, and I'm sitting there watching Reggie or LT, and you're like, those dudes just were in different speeds. I mean, it was just different. The hump move, all that stuff. You're sitting there watching it. You're not believing it. But then you sit around and you watch Jalen Carter, the way he moves his feet, the way he moves his hand. And it's tougher to get sacks inside than it is on the perimeter. We all know that. But I'm not going to put him in the category of Reggie. But does he have a Reggie impact on a defense? Not to the level of Reggie, but is he that kind of player that you have to circle his number, know where he is if you're Kansas City?
Oh, no question. I mean, he's like a Jerome Brown, an Aaron Donald.
Jerome.
Even when you have him, we assign the double team. When he gets to get off of the ball so fast, your double team doesn't matter because he's already in the gap, splitting the double team, even though the snap count. So that get off. I mean, he's just so explosive, and he got himself in the best shape of his life. He was never in this kind of shape in Georgia because he could just throw his helmet on the field and be better than 9/10 of the people.
And plus, they did a ton of rotating like they do at Ohio State. You don't play 60 plays at Georgia.
No. I mean, he is. I think at one point Sunday he had played 40 or 44 snaps. I was like, at a high level. So I mean, you're in really good shape because you're getting hit every snap from 2 and 3 different angles. And that's going to take something out of you. And you have to attain it to be a professional. And my gosh, he's doing it. I mean, and that's having a ripple effect throughout that defense, because now the quarterback, he's got to speed up. Now, because as an offensive player, we love rhythm and timing. We hate to get our time and the rhythm disrupted by defensive players. And when you have a defensive player that can do that, that has a ripple effect on your whole offense.
Keith, I had Brian Westbrook on a couple months ago, and he was talking about this O-line. And can you imagine if you dudes back in the day with your offensive skill set, guys, had that kind of offensive line? And he was saying this. He goes, look, Barkley is a sensational player, but the key to that whole team and the heartbeat of that team are those 5 guys up front, because they have just dominated people. I mean, that's as good an O-line. Do you not agree? Going back to those Cowboy O-lines.
I mean, you Cowboys, the Washington, I was about to say the R word, the Washington Commanders, the Hogs, they are elite. And then the backups are elite also. When a guy goes down, next man up, it doesn't like they miss a beat. And, I was talking to Seth Joyner earlier today. When the Eagles got a chance to get Saquon Barkley, who they see twice a year with the New York Giants, and now we don't have to tackle him. He was the only one we had to work. Now he's going to be an Eagle. In the last 25 years, just everybody's been playing in the 2000s. I haven't seen a home run hitter like Saquon Barkley. When I say a home run hitter, explosive runs are 20 yards more.
Like Dickerson.
Yeah, but that's why I don't want to say all the time, because I don't want to be that guy, have recency bias.
Yeah.
In the last 25 years, since 2000, this guy, how many runs does he have over 20 yards? How many runs does he have over 40? Over 60? He is a home run hitter. And when you get an offensive running back like that, you got to feed him. I mean, he could just change. I mean, you look at Washington game in this NFC Championship. The opening drive, they just drove the ball, drove it down. Eagles held them to a field goal. They're feeling good. And no sooner they're over there drinking Gatorade, Saquon is dancing in the end zone. One play, 70 yards. They're like, wow. We just took a lot out of the Eagles, but it didn't matter. You're losing 7-3. That's like, we had to struggle for these 3, and the Eagles got it in one play. That's what a home run hitter can give you. I mean, and not only does he, we love everybody likes the long ball, love home runs, but he also runs well. The tough yardage between the tackles, getting you 2 or 3 yards at a time. He is dangerous. He's a weapon, and the secret is out. But he has a good game, a big game on Sunday. I want to see Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines watching the Eagles offense eat up clock. 6-minute drives, touchdown, 8-minute drives, touchdown, put pressure on Kansas City to score. Because, I mean, they have, say the best quarterback in the NFL right now, Pat Mahomes. But what I didn't see, the teams that played him in the playoffs, don't let him out the pocket. Do not let him out the pocket. Because when he gets outside the pocket, good things happen more often than not for Kansas City. He's going to burn you for a first down, touchdown, or he always makes some positive plays. And he's already dangerous in the pocket. They got to make him one-dimensional, take away the running game for Kansas City, because that gets overlooked all the time. They run the ball very well with Pacheco, Hunt. They do a really good job.
Yep. How about this one here? Call me crazy. I only let the ex-players do it. Michael Irvin said the same thing about Hurts. Tell me that I'm not looking at this right. 2,900 yards passing, 18 touchdowns. He's not really an elite passer in the pocket, but he's won so many games. He's in his 2nd Super Bowl, Keith, in 3 years. Do you believe Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback?
Yes. You're not crazy. He's an elite quarterback. I mean, I hate the term game manager when they say that, when they put that label quarterback. He's a game manager. All good quarterbacks supposed to be game managers. Take care of the football. Don't turn the ball over. I'll take a quarterback that's throwing for 200-plus yards and no turnovers as opposed to a quarterback who throws for 300 and has 3+ turnovers. You're going to win way more games with a 200-yard guy. And sometimes people have a tendency to forget, especially when you win. So Mike Urban is talking about how many times you see Troy Aikman come back in the 4th quarter down 2 scores. How many times we see Troy Aikman throw for 300+ yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns? No. But he's going to get the credit because their team won. They had an offensive line. They end the ball to Emmett, throw it out there to Michael Irvin, to Jay Novacek, and they win the game 24-17 or 30-21 or whatever. And nobody cares about Troy Aikman's stats. But all they care about is they won and they glorify Troy. And, and fine, that's what happens when you win. I don't care about Jalen Hurts' stats. I care about my Eagles winning a football game. And on Sunday, I don't care how many yards he throw for, as long as the Eagles win. And I want Jalen Hurts on my team, and I'm.
So for you, Keith, the touchdown the touchdown passes are more overrated than the interceptions. You'd rather have a guy with no touchdowns and no picks than a guy like you said would have Brett Favre, 3 TDs and three turnovers. You're not going to win games doing that.
No, not at all. I mean, and Jalen and the Eagles offense isn't designed to chase stats. We get the ball inside the 5-yard line, the 10-yard line, 7-yard line. We hardly ever throw the ball down there because we can run the ball so good. So, I mean, Jalen has, 18 touchdowns? How many of those touchdowns are outside of 5 yards? Outside 4? Not many. That's our offense. That's what it's designed to do. And prior to Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everyone knows it was the Steelers' defense and the running game that won those Super Bowls, and the elite wide receivers are Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. But the quarterback gets the glory. And I don't care how much, but it seems to be like with Jalen Hurts, they want to downgrade him and downplay his success. And what's it going to take for Jalen Hurts to someday win the MVP of the league? He's going to have to have 6,000 yards passing and another 500-600 yards rushing. I don't really care about MVPs. I care about winning, and that's really Jalen Hurts is all about. He's a winner. He's won on every level. His father was his coach, which I don't know why they don't show his father more. The media, I don't. He is. I mean, he's a someone that you really want to promote. This guy is all about positivity. He's a winner, and I mean he's a role model. I don't care about stats. That's for the fantasy people to do that. I care about wins and losses, and Jalen Hurts seems to have that attitude, about it. I remember his first 2 years in Philadelphia, and I'm slow to judgment. And I was like, I don't know if he's going to be our quarterback for the future. He's improved from his rookie year, to his second year, but I just don't know. But I'm not passing judgment. Then the third year, wow, he got better. We're going to the Super Bowl. Last year, he got even better. We didn't go to the Super Bowl, but I saw improvement. This year, it's the same thing. His trajectory is still going up. He hasn't maxed out his talent. And, this is, so not only are we in the Super Bowl this year, I think we're going to be in even more Super Bowls, win, lose, or draw Sunday. Where's Josh Allen? Has Josh Allen been in the Super Bowls?
No.
Mark Jackson, how many Super Bowls he been in? Okay. Right. I mean, I'm just saying.
All right,
Herbert, no Super Bowls? Oh, okay.
Hey, Keith, all right, what do you got on Sunday? Obviously I know where you're going here, but is it a big win or is it a tight win?
A win. And I think the first team to 28.
What are you running for mayor of Philly?
I just want to win by 1 point or 31 points. When I was Ohio State and Notre Dame, I'm like, I just want to win. I just want to win. I'm gonna feel the same way when we win, whether we won by 30 or won by 1. I'm gonna be over the moon. But I do say the first team to 28 points. Not that it won't be more than 28, but whoever scores 28 first. And I believe it's going to be the Eagles. We're going to win the game.
They're going to win their second Super Bowl in 8 years. That'll be their third in 8 years. I'll tell you, man, it's a testament to the organization that, you can talk about what Kansas City and New England did, but, there's a lot of turnover in that organization on both sides of the football. They do a great job. Howie Roseman's done a great job in selecting talent.
Yes. Yes, and only going to get better. You know, I've already gotten some guys on the Eagles roster. I won't out of college right now. I don't know if it's going to work out, but you know, like that Scatterboo for Arizona State. I'm like, yeah, he can come in and spare Saquon Barkley a little bit. Tyler Warren
that.
At Penn State. Hey, he could come over here and play with Dallas Goedert and those guys.
Oh my God, the kid Scatterboo from Arizona State. I like that going in Philly. Grab that kid in the third. Grab that kid in the third or fourth round.
That's what I'm saying. He'd be available.
Yeah.
Tyler Warren at Penn State.
Yeah.
Oh, he'd make a great Eagle.
I like that idea, man, with Scatterboo. I do. Hey, final question for you. Your boy Ryan Day get too much bullshit because he's so many. I mean, look, you got Woody, you got to deal with. You got Meyer, you got to deal with. You got so much history that you're dealing with. He loses to Michigan. Obviously, that doesn't go well. However, I mean, he does win the national championship. I mean, that's a huge thing. Is it too much criticism on him, or is that just a par for the course for the job?
It's not too much criticism. It's the best job in football. I mean, it's not a better job in the NFL than Ohio State head football coach. And at Ohio State, it's not a better job than in college football than at Ohio State. You have no in-state competition. Alabama has Auburn to deal with. You know, Texas has a whole bunch of Texas schools, and
Florida,
you know, USC, Florida. Ohio State doesn't have any competition. You know, we are used to success. So as much criticism as Ryan Day's gotten, it's nowhere near amount of the love that he has gotten and the support. We love Ohio State football. You know, much bigger than the city of Columbus, much bigger than the state of Ohio. Ohio State really never has a away game. So it is worldwide. You know, I remember going to the Japan Bowl when I was in college, and we had an Ohio State booster over there taking myself and Pepper Johnson, showing us Japan, taking us out to dinner, and Bo Jackson was getting jealous. And we're like, come on, Bo, you can go with us. Yeah, I'm sorry you don't have any Auburn alumni in Tokyo, Japan. But come on, Bo. And we went to go watch a sumo wrestlers practice. All because of Ohio State. So Ohio State is great responsibility with that job. And as much, I mean, you're not lacking for anything. You're not lacking money. You're not lacking resources. You're not lacking facilities. Everything that we want. And I know you didn't ask me this, but is the Michigan game overblown? Of course not. When you lose to Michigan, yes, it's supposed to hurt. And we've lost to them 4 years in a row. It stinks. But I'll take a national championship over that, over a win against Michigan. And we'll get Michigan. You know, we'll spank them again. You know, but they're going to get it. But do we love Ryan Day? Of course we do. And like it's only that loud minority that was critical of Ryan Day. And it's okay to criticize your coach. You know, it's okay. I mean, when he lost to Michigan for the fourth time, we go 10-2. You're open for criticism, but yeah, you had a mulligan. You had the playoffs, and we was like, you take care of business, we'll forget all that.
Got it.
We did, and kudos. I'm a huge Ryan Day fan.
Good.
But just like your parents love you, they can also criticize you. And correct you when you get on the line.
Keith, thank you so much for your time. I love catching up with you, man.
Hey, it reminds me to come on your show, Dan.
Hey, man, it reminds me of all my dear friends back in the day, man. It really does. In our time together when we were all in the league together, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keith, have a great Super Bowl Sunday. I appreciate it, my friend.
Jerome Brown,
my friend.
That's my
Thank
guy.
you so much, Keith.
Always. All right.
You got it. That is my friend Keith Byars, one of the truly great Philadelphia Eagles of all time.